Hello and welcome everyone to NetCourse for the Love of Emails Holiday Season 2021 videocast series. I'm Tejas Pitkar, Senior Product Evangelist at Netco Cloud, and today we'll be speaking with a very special guest. We'll be discussing the holiday emails with Karen Talavera. She's an email marketing strategist, optimization expert, a professional educator. She's also the founder and principal at Synchronicity Marketing. She's also the vice chair at the Email Experience Council, the EEC, and a reputed email thought leader. Welcome to the videocast, Karen.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Great to have you. My pleasure. So, speaking about the upcoming holiday season, how do you think this season is going to be any different from last year, or do you think that it's going to have some similar trends to what we saw in 2020?
Well, 2020 was such a disruption in all of our normal patterns that I think for 2021, we're going to see some of the lasting effects of 2020, and we're also going to see continued evolution. One of the lasting changes I think that 2020 brought is a true acceleration, lasting, transition from brick and mortar commerce, from people, especially during holiday, going to stores and physically buying goods, tracking them down on foot, etc., to ordering online, which involves a little more planning ahead for inventory reasons. Which
Right.
leads me to where I think it's going to be different this year from last year, is that there's already a global supply chain disruption and shortages in many areas. So the inventory of very desired holiday gifts, goods, and services that is already in place in store might be the majority of the inventory that people have to work with. So we have this holdover from last year of, hey, I'm buying online. I'm kind of getting what I need online more than ever, even if I was resisting it before. Now with the pandemic, that's what I have to do. Working also with, if I really want something, the only item I might be able to get my hands on is already going to be in a store. Now I have to reverse my pattern and go back out. So it's going
Yeah.
to be really interesting for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, some good points actually, because I think the whole pandemic thing ushered in online shopping as a lifestyle habit, which I don't think it's going to go away any sooner. And I think we're going to see some of the same this year as well as we saw last year. So yeah, great point. Uh, Now, of course, talking about the pandemic, there has been a steep learning curve, at least in the last year, with email marketers have to pivot their strategies. They had to change their email programs completely. Some of them had to go online from the offline stores. So, what are some of the lessons that you have learned personally from last year's holiday campaigns?
I think one of the biggest lessons I've seen my clients and email marketers learn is how to be more flexible, nimble, and pivot faster. And that means that they have good plans already in place, but they understand they have a foundation in place, but they understand what the market conditions are. They understand what is being called for. They understand what their clients or customers are asking for, and they can adapt very quickly. So adaptability, is huge for those companies that haven't had the strong foundation in place. And it's not just email, because email touches so many other areas. Certainly it touches other areas of marketing, but to do it effectively, to let it be driving business and commerce means you have to have a strong e-commerce software platform. You have to have strong ERP systems and inventory management, and that's tied into payment systems and financials. So if all of those other pieces of the tech stack weren't really buttoned down, or
Mhm.
weren't maybe on more recent platforms, if there was an update or a real evolution needed in those areas, then the smart marketers got working on their infrastructure systems and their back end systems, so that when the email went out the door and people with sales were coming in or customers were trying to buy, the website was supporting the process. The payment
Mhm.
system was working. The inventory management system was displaying the correct inventory, and so forth. So huge lesson in, hey, we have to have the right underpinnings. We have to have the right foundation across our business, not just in marketing, all working cohesively.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, email marketers have to pay attention to so many other aspects than just email channels, because if they want to fulfill those orders, it's really great if you have the inventory stocked up. Now, as you talked about the global disruption in logistics that happening in
Mhm.
China or Europe, it's going to be very important for marketers to start ordering their products and for customers to start ordering early for Christmas so that they can actually get hold of the gifts on time. So yeah, absolutely right. So many other
Right.
things that are
And
working. Yeah,
for the
go on.
email marketers out there, sometimes they have to push the rest of the organization to get the other pieces in place. Again, yeah, proper fulfillment,
Yeah,
systems as well. If any piece is lagging behind, it could bring down, the whole house, so to speak, and nobody wants that.
yeah. Uh, so what would be your, like, if you have to give one suggestion to marketers who are watching this right now to change one thing in their holiday programs this year, in order to make them more efficient, what would be that?
The biggest piece of advice I would give is understand what your audience, mostly customers for holiday, are expecting. Understand your audience's expectations and manage their expectations and use email to do that. So when we're talking holiday marketing, we're usually talking, B2C companies, retail, sometimes direct to consumer that doesn't have a physical store, sometimes shared marketplaces like Amazon or Etsy or whatever, which gives us a lot of nuances for traditional retailers that might be online and brick and mortar. It's not
Hmm.
too early to start letting people know that there might be inventory limitations. It's not too early to really kickstart and say, hey, normally we do our early bird stuff in, say, November. Well, we're starting in October this year because we realize that market conditions have changed. Again, global supply chains have been disrupted or delayed or what have you. We only have this much that we can give you. So manage expectations that way, sort of administratively, logistically, factually, so people know where to buy and when to get what they want. But there may also be brands that have inventory on hand or that do have enough inventory or special inventory, seasonal inventory that they can promote and that they should promote, that they really need to put the spotlight on. So
Absolutely.
if there is anything special, new, different that you could bundle, that's another way to meet the expectations of the market and of your audience and say, hey, this has been really popular in the past. Have you considered this? Or these are our featured gift sets. So it's about putting your best foot forward and at the same time, knowing what your audience wants, needs, and managing those expectations.
Right, right. Amazing. So first thing is communication is going to be really key with your customers, especially if you've got the inventory. You can start early bird offers and try to cater them to your exclusive customers in order to get the sales rolling. And yeah, just great points. Great points. Uh,
Yeah, another great suggestion that you just made too, exclusivity where you can offer it. Mhm.
yeah. I mean, they call it the velvet rope marketing, and I think that's also going to be key this season if marketers want to start early, doing all of these early bird offers for their loyal customers. So yeah, that's going to be key. Uh, Now, Karen, you worked with a lot of brands across industries, building the
Mhm.
email strategies and developing the programs. You have a really rich marketing experience. Can you provide like two tips for marketeers, for the upcoming programs that they're going to design for, say, till Christmas for this season? If you have to give two tips.
One of the first tips I would give, and I know I've given it in previous years, but I think it's even more important this year based on what you just said, is take a look at your customers and stratify them.
Right.
So whether you do a persona segmentation or you do traditional RFM type segmentation that retailers do, you want to understand really who your best customers are. You want to have these different layers or levels of customers and don't treat them all the same.
Yeah.
So this is a kind of a two-step process. A lot of companies already have the customer data to be able to do the segmentation. Maybe they haven't done it. Now is the time to do it. If they have done it, then now is absolutely the time to say, hey, these are our VIPs, for example. These are our loyalists. We want to make sure that, you know, we offer them everything first, that we give them first access, that we give them the best deal. We want them to stick around. And beyond or below, you know, that level, it's maybe these are the people that seem enthusiastic and we want to develop into VIPs. And it goes from there. But if you fall back to one size fits all, especially when resources can be scarce, when inventory can be scarce, and a lot of companies are struggling to hire and even get enough, you know, people on their team to execute all of this. When all of that is your reality, which it is, then you can only spend, it only makes sense to spend resources, you know, keeping and serving the best customers and the most promising customers. If you treat everyone the same, you run the risk of wasting resources on the people that are just really barely active. Maybe they need reactivation, but that's something you can do later. So I think it's really the taking a deep dive look at customers and audience segments, target markets, and allocating resources appropriately without, you know, resorting to one size fits all just because it's easier.
Right. Yeah, good point that. So, I mean, even with Apple Privacy coming in now, it's going to be super important for marketers to dig really deep into the customer behavior and know what is their true customer intent rather than, you know, just sending a generic campaign to the entire mailing list. That's just going to be a disaster now more than ever. So yeah, as you said, great point. You know, dig into segmentation and look at propensity modeling in terms of buying behaviors. That's going to be super important this time. So yeah, that's a great tip for marketers watching this in order to streamline the email programs this holiday season. Thanks a lot, Karen. Those were some really great email marketing insights. I hope viewers can take some really good practical takeaways from this conversation, like velvet rope marketing or deep dive in segmentation, and start implementing them right away. Because the earlier you do, it's going to be better for this season. Thanks so much, Karen, for joining us in this video cast. To the listeners, we'll be back soon with more email tips and strategies to maximize your email results. And if you wish to take your email performance to the next level, please get in touch with one of our experts at netcocloud.com. Till then, this is Tejas signing off.
Thank you.